Welcome back to Get Down to Business, this show all about small business jobs and entrepreneurship. Absolutely thrilled and excited to be joined by Stephen Kopshaw, who is a seasoned entrepreneur with a passion for business growth. Can't wait to get all of his insights and information. So many great skills that I look forward to learning from Stephen on. But as I always love to do, Stephen, I always love to get to know the person behind the microphone. Real quickly, can you tell our listeners a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, so the short of it is I got into brick and mortar business ownership about 15 years ago at this point in time. Through that, I grew from a singular location, which I opened brand new, to being opportunistic to take over other locations and grew my portfolio to 17 locations across 5 different states. In that journey, I stumbled into the world of consulting and started to love that more than the actual businesses themselves and sold everything off. And for the past 9 years, I've now been helping other business owners kind of grow and scale their dreams in a systematic way. So that way we can kind of try to avoid the burnout a lot of people run into.
Absolutely, Stephen. That's awesome. And I love your motto. And of course, we're going to send our listeners to your website, which has a wealth of knowledge and information. But you say, stop talking, start doing. And you use a word freedom quite a bit, which I'm all about. I'm all about freedom. But I think you mean a lot more to it than just the name suggests. Tell us about your freedom framework system.
Yeah, absolutely. In 2014, I had 4 locations, and that was the first 5 years of my, I'll call it adult business, took me to get there. In the next 4 years, I went from 4 to 17 locations, and it was really 2 big things that happened. The first piece of it was understanding that I needed to become better and I needed to grow. And the reasons that I wasn't growing was simply because of me. The second piece of that is I had got into business running away from something. And at the time it was, I never wanted to be poor again. I grew up poor. I grew up on food stamps. A double wide trailer was not a weird thing for me. And I was running away. The thing is, though, you don't know what you're going towards when the only thing you think about is running away from something. And it was really a hindsight awareness piece that happened. But I learned that I needed to start to identify where I wanted to go towards. And I really built it around what is my version of freedom. Freedom to me is getting to do what I want to do, when I want to do it, and how I want to do it. And I've been able to build a 7-step framework that really highlights the 7 steps that an entrepreneur should make or take as they're building towards their freedom to go unlock that. Because it's pretty easy for us to get stuck in this always taking action, always learning, and not really focusing on the right things in our day-to-day.
Absolutely. And again, chatting with Steve Kopshaw over here. And Steve, I want to spend the remainder of our time talking about the Metric Mentor Labs. And again, you've already talked about the framework, which is at the heart of the labs. But tell us a little bit about what you and your team do.
So we take business owners that are looking to grow and scale their business and install logical and simplified systems to help elevate communication ultimately, but also a systemized way to understand what we need to be working on. The biggest issue that most companies struggle with is communication. Some people have way too many meetings that aren't productive. Everybody has too many notifications on Slack. There's too many emails going on. They don't have enough meetings. People feel like they need to be aware of what's going on and they shouldn't, and other people that should be aware are not. And at the core of what we do is we just create simplified ways for everybody to communicate back and forth. So the freedom framework is really identify what you need to be working on. There's a process to that. And then we ask a series of questions which really help you educate yourself enough to actually get the job done intelligently, and then go get the job done. If we think about those 3 components, there's not enough time spent in one of those sections in most businesses. And that's really one of the biggest struggles that your average business owner makes. So we come in, we install those systems, we train people how to leverage those systems. We enable the leaders and whatnot on the team to lead and drive those team members and really help elevate them to a higher level of communication across the board.
Steve, we've just got just about a minute and a half remaining, and I'm inspired by, again, your story of success, the Freedom Framework, and the Metric Mentor Labs. But in a nutshell, you just talked about, again, some of the businesses that you work with. Give us a profile of who needs to talk to you and who can benefit from this Freedom Framework.
Yeah, the best person to come seek me out is going to be somebody who is starting to add their second or third team member to their team. They're starting to do revenues that are probably producing profits for them that are now exceeding $10,000 to $15,000 per month. So let's say we're doing, depending upon your business, at least $25,000, if not maybe $35,000 a month. If you're significantly more than that, then we definitely need to be talking about us actually hands-on installing those to you. But I think the biggest thing is really going to be you are producing enough revenue, you're hiring probably your third person, and you're really starting to grow and scale that business. And the idea of doing $500,000 a year or more is starting to become very real.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Steve, I know the most important homework assignment that I could give to our listeners is to get in touch with you. How can they do that?
Instagram and Facebook are going to be the two best platforms. Search my name, Steven with a PH, Kopshaw with a K. You'll find me there. Instagram is more informative, give you something to chew on and something to learn, some good questions there. Facebook is a little bit more of I like to stir the pot and have some fun and ask some questions just to get elicit a response out of people.
Okay, fantastic. Steve, we'll link in the show notes as well. And I know you share a lot of your advice for free through your social media. And again, we'll link right there. Steve, really appreciate you coming on the program. Can't wait to have you back on real soon.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. We're going to squeeze in a quick break here on the show. All about small business jobs and entrepreneurship. We will be right back.